Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Casey and I have a 4-month-old daughter named Layla who's peacefully playing back there with her little crunchy book. And I wanted to make a birth video where I tell the story of how she was born. I decided not to film inside the delivery room because everything was happening so fast. We did initially plan to film it so she could have it for her records just when she's older and for us too to experience the moment, but we brought the camera and I decided at the last minute, I just want to be here. I just want to be present. I want to feel everything raw and just not worry about filming, not worry about turning on a camera, turning off a camera. I just wanted to purely be in the moment, and I totally was, and me and my fiance both. We cried, we sobbed, we looked at each other. We were there for our daughter instead of worrying about, oh, how does this look? Is the camera okay? I didn't want to worry about all that. So I just want to tell the story of how it happened, the day of, my feelings, her feelings, my fiance's feelings, just everything that happened that led up to that day and her birth, and a little bit after. So it was Saturday. No, it was Friday the 15th around 2 p.m. and I started having really bad contractions. I didn't know what contractions felt like. This is my first baby, but I knew it was something. Something was just off. And you have a mother's instinct no matter what. It's your body. You feel everything. You felt the whole pregnancy. Everything feels normal. And then you just start cramping up more than usual. And it's very, very odd. So I was trying to tough it out because they were saying on the phone, I called and they're like, unless you can't walk anymore and you can't talk, you can't do anything, tough it out. It'll be another couple hours up to a day. Like, people are in labor for days. So I was basically told, just wait at home. And I'm very pain tolerant, but this was just odd to me. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay because I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And it's not supposed to feel right. It's a baby coming out of you. It's a big deal. So I was telling my fiance, I was like, we need to go. We need to book it. I just feel like it's happening right now. And I could still walk. I could still talk. I was fine. I was just being dramatic. So we got to the hospital, we rushed down there. It's about 20 minutes away from us. So I wanted to make sure we have enough time too, just in case anything did happen. It's not like happening in the van. So we got to the hospital, we went up to birthing and delivery, and they asked a bunch of questions. What are you feeling? How far apart are your contractions? What do they feel like to you? Has your water broke? Anything like that, your due date. And I just basically told them everything that was happening. They admitted me. I got into my hospital gown, and they checked if I was dilated or not. And I was 2 centimeters dilated, so that was kind of disappointing because I was like, I just felt like it was happening right then and there. I convinced myself. But they did tell me I was dehydrated, so I was having really, really bad contractions, but it was because I was dehydrated, which I was drinking a ton of water. I guess it just wasn't enough. And I had been cleaning. I've been nesting for the past couple days because I was like, her due date is the 17th of September, and it was currently the 15th of September. So 2 days away, I was like, I need to get this prep going in case anything happens. I knew she was coming very soon. So I was just doing too much, drinking too little water. And they monitored me for about an hour, and then they sent me home, and it was about 4 o'clock at that time. They sent me back home, and I just waited it out. I was grunting and moaning, and I was bothering my fiance. I was like, look at me. I just wanted attention. I wanted rubs. I wanted back rubs. I wanted love. And then I just couldn't sleep. I just wanted to take a rest and kind of just let things take their course. I could not sleep. And pretty soon, it was one after the other, and I just couldn't take it. I was like, take me back, I'm going, I'm giving birth, that is that. And, hold on, my daughter has a book in her face. She's reading. Yeah, you're welcome. I love you. I'm right here. So, when we got back to the hospital, it was about, I would say 6 p.m. It was getting really, really late. It was kind of getting dark outside because it's winter. Winter was approaching. So it got dark at around 7. And it was just very eerie. I just felt like, I don't know, something's going down now. Now it's the business. So I came back and all the nurses were like, are you mad enough yet? Can you not take it anymore? And I couldn't walk, barely. I couldn't talk. I was kind of limping along, out of breath, up to the labor and delivery because I was on the 2nd floor. And I wasn't mad. I wasn't like angry, like, get this baby out of me. I was still in that phase where I felt uncomfortable, but it was bearable. And they did the same exact thing. I was in a gown. I got another pee test. They checked me again. And I was 4 centimeters dilated. So they knew something was progressing. They knew it was happening. And my contractions were on the monitor one after the other, very, very close together. So they kept me and they wanted to verify with my doctor if I could stay. And the only reason I did stay, because it was a long labor, the only reason I did stay is my doctor came in and said my blood pressure was very, very high. Enough to be concerning where they did want to keep an eye on me and not send me home. And for hypertension and all that. I do have high blood pressure occasionally. It just kind of went on and off throughout my pregnancy. Not like alarming rates, but they did tell me every once in a while my blood pressure was a little higher than normal. Very, very slightly. So they knew that. They wanted to keep an eye on me because they knew it would be coming close to delivery. And so the rest of the night, they took me in, gave me a room, and pretty soon, like an hour later, it was like a minute apart, and I just couldn't take it. They were asking me questions, they were having me fill out forms, which is all protocol, and my nurse was the best ever, and I will always thank her. She kept an eye on me through the whole night. Luckily, I got her on the night shift, so right when she got there, she was there for me up until the morning, up until delivery. She left like probably 2 hours after I gave birth. So the whole night I had the same nurse, which was godsend because she was amazingly attentive. Every time I pressed my button, she was there. We got right next to the nurse's station, so I could literally probably see her throughout the door, even though my door was closed. But every single thing I needed, she was there. And she just came in just to check on me every so often, every like hour or so, just to see if I had water, do I need anything, am I feeling okay, and to check if I'm dilated anymore. And she was just the best. So after that, I filled out all my paperwork. I did get an epidural. I planned on it somewhat. I was seeing my pain tolerance. I was kind of playing it by ear. And they asked me if I wanted an epidural. I was like, we'll see as it gets further along as I'm progressing. And as soon as I had the option, I was like 5 centimeters, and I was in excruciating pain. I could not talk. I didn't want to see anybody. Like I was very just closed my eyes and kind of clenched. And every visitor that came to see me, I was just very shut down. Even to my fiance, I just couldn't talk. I couldn't bear it too much more. So I did get an epidural, and that doesn't make me weak or anything. I just prefer that. And I was able to sleep because I knew for the couple months after I wouldn't be able to sleep. The second night I was not sleeping at all. And this night, obviously. I was too anxious. I was excited. I knew it was happening. So after that, it was around, I would say, 8 o'clock, and my family came. We were all settled in. First my family came, which was the big Brady bunch, and they all said hi to me after I got my epidural. And that was probably the worst part. That hurt the worst. And I couldn't look at the needle. I was just sitting there shaking and just mostly afraid of the needle, not even the pain, because that's just me. So I did get the epidural. I was hunched over. They gave it to me in my back, as usual, and gave me a button in case I needed to pump more into me. And I didn't know that was possible. I just assumed it was a one and done thing. Like, give me the needle, I'm good for the whole entire night, or however long. But no, I needed to keep pushing my button to make the medicine go in effect again. So that was on and off all night because I would feel it and it would get so bad that I just was like, I would wait it out for as long as I could, and then I would press the button. I didn't do it too many times, but I labored from, I would say I started at like 2 p.m. on the 15th until I gave birth, which was the 16th of September, a day before her due date. My doctor was amazing. Like, how he predicted that, I had no idea, but everything went so smoothly. She was born a day before her due date, September 16th at 6:35 a.m., and she weighed 8 pounds and 13 ounces. So throughout the night, going back to my story, I just wanted to throw that out there. Going back to my story, throughout the night, I was still contracting and I'm pressing my epidural. It pretty much sailed along. I was going to be induced because it was 4 a.m. and my contractions were so close together and I was dilating very slowly. So at that point, I was about 8 centimeters dilated at 4 a.m. and I was trying to just get a little bit of sleep because I didn't know how long I had left. I could have had another day, who knows. And as soon as I shut my eyes, I felt a gush of water. My water broke on its own, thank God, because I really didn't want to be induced if possible. And after that, things just got moving along. 4:30 a.m. I think it was, because I took a picture. I was like, my water just broke. So I have documentation of when everything happened, and I kind of wrote it down so I would remember. And my water broke. The nurse came in. I was like, I didn't know what happened. I thought I might have peed myself, so I was a little embarrassed. I was like, I don't know what's going on down there. I can't really feel it because of my epidural. I just feel wet, so who knows what's going on. She came in and took care of me, made sure I saw nothing. She was the best. She literally didn't let me feel embarrassed one bit. Everything's normal. Helped me out, took care of me. I was basically a human adult baby because I couldn't feel anything below my legs, really. So she changed me, cleaned me up, did all that, and she constantly after that was checking me nonstop because she knew it would be near after that, obviously. And I did start feeling my contractions a little bit more, even when I was pressing my epidural button, which is fine. I knew I would feel it. It's not going to go away. It's extreme body pain. And, what was I saying? Oh, they checked me, and I was about 9 centimeters dilated at 5 a.m., I believe. And to speed it along, they gave me a big ball that I put in my legs and flipped on my side just so it would help with the dilating, because I don't know how to explain it. One part of me wasn't dilating enough that needed to, so she was just trying to speed it along. I couldn't get up, obviously, because I had a catheter, so whatever way I could do it, she was trying to make me comfortable but still try to stretch into different positions because I was on my back for so long. So it kind of felt nice to get up and get moving a little bit, because from 6 p.m. about till 5 a.m. I was just sitting on my back. Besides, I got up a little bit to help along when I first got in my room, but after the IVs, I'm pretty much stuck. And I had all my IVs. They switched me to have it in my arm, or in my hand instead of my arm, because I was just getting too uncomfortable. They couldn't find the veins, and I was getting swollen. So they just did it in my hands, which was a little freaky, because that, again, I hate needles, and I had to look at it the whole time. But not a big deal. And after that, I started dilating very, very quickly. So around 6 o'clock a.m., she came back in, and I was fully dilated. I was ready to go. My doctor wasn't there yet, but he was very near, and I knew, I was like, I have a feeling to push. I need to push soon. And she verified. She's like, yeah, you do. I mean, you probably do. You're ready. So around 6:30, everything just happened so quickly. Kyle was sleeping next to me after all that excitement. He's a heavy sleeper, so he just knocked out. I was like, you are lucky, dude. I wish I could have slept through the night. I was just, too much was going on. Nurses were coming in. My body was just going and going, working its magic. And around, 6:30, we woke Kyle up, and the nurse asked him, are you ready to be a dad? And he shot up and came right next to me. They each grabbed one of my legs, and they told me I was ready to push. And so I did. And the nurse helped me deliver my baby. She's like, I'll be here. Your doctor's on his way. Don't worry. They brought in all the tables and stuff. They paged the other nurses to come help. There was 2 nurses that assisted. And Kyle came over, held my leg, kissed my forehead. I started crying, you know, and I was able to push. I pushed her out in 5 minutes. And the nurse pretty much did most of it. The doctor literally came in at around 6:34, a minute before she was born, and took her out and fixed me up because I did rip a little bit. So I needed stitches, and that was even more painful than birth, I would say. Not to be dramatic. I'm not even kidding. I pushed my epidural button at around, I would say 6 o'clock, so it was 30 minutes. And I was noticing every like 40 minutes I would have to press it. Every like hour or so, I think it was, I was allowed to press it. So I pushed it at around 6 o'clock, and it started wearing down where I could feel it. Not too bad, but I still could feel it. I know. She's back there screaming. I knew I could still feel it a lot more than I was feeling my contractions before, and I was like, oh shoot. I didn't have time to press it again, which is fine. I kind of wanted to feel what it would feel like because it's such a rare pain. You don't feel that, you know, the pain of childbirth. They say, like, it's the worst pain. You don't get to feel that with an epidural. So I wanted to kind of be brave and kind of like, oh, what does it feel like? So she came right out. The doctor grabbed her. 8 pounds and 13 ounces with a big head. Her head was swollen. She had a cone head. So I have tons of pictures of my family, which I also had a huge head because the reason being I could not push her head out. It got stuck right here, and that's the point where I was like, I don't know how to push. Like, how do you practice how to push, you know? Nobody prepares you for that. So the nurse was like, come on, push your head out. Like, you can do it. Showing me where to push, like, where to push from in my stomach. Like, my nurse was amazing. She grabbed the baby, said, oh, do you want to see the baby to my fiance and see her hair? Because she did have hair. And he went totally red in the face. He was so, like, amazed by this experience. And again, I wish I would have recorded it now, but then again, I don't, because I can talk about it. I was there. I knew every single thing going on, and I can tell it to my daughter like it is, or I can show her this video and explain how amazing her birth was to me, because it was something that is so beautiful. Literally, the heavens open up, and you just feel like an outer world beauty in the room. And yeah, you. She's talking to me. So after that, she was born, and our whole family came to see her. Let me go fix her. Let me go fix her. What are you doing? And after that, my whole family came to see her. They were actually downstairs because I texted them that my water broke at 4 a.m. And then I texted them at around 6, and they live right down the street, like 10 minutes away. Both Kyle's family and my family, luckily. So we picked that hospital because it was convenient for all of us. We were right in the middle, really, for every single one of us. So around 4 a.m., I was like, my water broke, like, things are moving along. And then at 6, I was like, I'm fully dilated if you guys want to come. She's probably going to be born very soon now. Now it's happening. And she was just beautiful. She was crying, screaming. Instantly when she came out, they handed her to me, and she let it all out. She was screaming. I was so happy and overwhelmed that I heard her scream. That was like the big moment for me, like, wow, it's real. My heart just dropped to the floor in the best way, because I knew I would have her for the rest of my life. Like, this is a human being. I saw her ears, her nose, her skin was like porcelain, even though it was full of blood and gush. Like, I knew she was just so soft and just so innocent. And she looked up at me, opened her eyes right away, looked up at me. And it was just like a magic moment. It was so surreal. I had no emotions because I was just taken away. That's how it was. And me and Kyle looked at each other and cried and smiled at each other and just couldn't believe that for the rest of our lives now, this is it. This is her, you know. We've waited 9 months for her, and she's finally here. So I just can't thank everybody enough that you were there to support me and support her and just be there for her life, you know, her giving life, and for me and for Kyle. And all of our families were downstairs in the food court, all came up at the same time, just waiting all night for this moment. And I couldn't let her go. I was breastfeeding her, and she fed for an hour, and I did not care. I just wanted to be as close to her as possible. And I knew that moment was just so crucial for me and her to bond that the whole entire time we were at the hospital, pretty much, I let everybody hold her when they came to visit, but she's pretty much glued to me. And even through the night when she couldn't sleep, I did not want to let her go. Even when she did fall asleep, I didn't want to let her go because she was the most precious thing in this world, and I couldn't believe how cute she was. So her birth story was amazing, and I'll never forget who was there for us and how smoothly everything went. Literally, it couldn't have gone any more perfect, and she's the most perfect being. I'll show her to you because you're gonna love her. Hi. She loves to smile. And she's so cute. Look at all of her toys. And she just learned to roll over. Yesterday she learned completely, but today she actually showed me because I put her down on her mat and made something to eat, literally turned my head for 1 second while I poured the mac and cheese and drained it, and she was on her stomach. I was like, did I seriously miss that? I know it wasn't the first time she did it, but I seriously missed it because I really wanted to record that moment. That was so special for me. And today I caught it on camera. She did it twice actually. And she can roll from her stomach to her back as well. So she's getting so big. And she wants to sit up by herself in her little sleeper thing that we carry around. This is the easiest, most portable way to carry her around. When she's not in her gym, or I'm holding her, or in her swing, I literally bring all this out, and then I put it away at night because it takes up the whole entire living room. But I have a little like tummy time pillow. I bring that out, and it's also, you can sit her up in it. So she's been sitting up, and now she's getting comfortable where she's like, ooh, I got this. I got back muscles now. I can show the world, but that's not the case yet. She'll be 4 months on the 16th. So it's coming up quick. You're a big baby. You know that? She was also born with a hemangioma, it's called, on the top of her head. And it has been getting bigger, but for the past, I would say, month, it's slowed down a lot. It stopped growing now. So they say as long as it's not like getting as big as a golf ball and where it's uncomfortable on her head, don't worry about it. We don't need to laser it. It'll go away. So we're just keeping an eye on it, and it just makes her who she is. She's a little strawberry girl, we call her, because they call it a strawberry patch. Yeah, you. She has red hair like her daddy and blue eyes like both of us. And yes, she's just a perfect combination of us, and I couldn't be prouder. Yes, you. You're beautiful. She looks at the camera, and every time I have my phone out, she tries to touch it or grab it. She grabs everything, grabs my hair. And I love it. She totally sees herself, and she knows how cute she is. I'm convinced. I love you. So that is it for her birth video. I'm going to start posting more videos of tips and tricks and things that I've learned as a parent. I'm going to do my essentials, my go-to items for being a parent, because I have a bunch of them, and just things that I've learned that have helped me along in case any other moms have questions, or it could help somebody else that has the same problem. I know every child's not the same, so obviously it's not the magic solution, but I do have tips that I've learned that have helped me tremendously, that I may have learned from other moms on YouTube just from watching videos, just of things that I've tried. And trials and tribulations is really all that you can do in motherhood. Literally, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from others. It's human nature to just mess up and bounce back. So I'll make a video like that of my essentials for motherhood. And then I do want to make a video about sleep training, because she's pretty much all the way sleep trained. And then I want to make a video about birth until now, all the things that she's learned, her accomplishments, all that. And I also want to do a video on wedding planning, because we might be getting married in October. We're planning it, and by the end of the month I want to figure out and set a date. So we are working on that. I could use everybody's advice that I could get, because I know nothing about wedding planning. I know nothing about weddings. So any feedback helps. And I feel like this channel could be an outlet also for learning new things, for advice, giving advice, and just recording her life and our life, and just as things progress. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I know I kind of got a little off topic, but I'm very good at that because I like to talk. And we still have our Christmas tree up, and I'm really having trouble taking it down because I love it in the house so much. It's such a nice ambiance and such a nice night light for when I come out here at night. I'm not so freaked out. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye, guys.